everybody. We're just waiting for everyone to get in, and then I'm going to start sharing my screen and going over just a little bit of housekeeping stuff. So welcome to the presentation, which is your top 3 Nclex prep time-saving skills and techniques. And we're just going to wait a little longer, a couple more minutes. Okay, so quickly, and I'll repeat this again. If you guys have any questions, we're going to be doing a Q&A at the end. So this is a 18-minute presentation with a Q&A at the end. So you're welcome to use the chat widget at the bottom, but we will be answering questions at the end, and I'll definitely be going through and seeing them. Hello, everyone. We've got some people from New York, Texas, awesome. Okay, other things. When you're registered, you are automatically entered to win a free 1-year subscription at Picmonic. And so we're gonna be announcing that winner at the end of this presentation, so stay tuned for that. This webinar will be recorded and on YouTube. So it will be, give us about a day to put it on YouTube, and it'll be there for you to go back and rewatch and share with your friends. And then if you stay till the end, we have a special promotion for you, so don't miss out on that one. So let's get started in just a second, but I just want to repeat the question thing one more time. So if you have any questions, just feel free to type them in the chat. I have Heather in the background with me. She's a part of the Picmonic team, and we'll just be answering your guys' questions as we go through, and then also at the Q&A at the end. So thank you all for joining. So I'm going to go into sharing my screen, so just hold on one second. Thanks for your patience. I lost my presentation. I think it is. That's so funny. Give me one more second. Okay, while I'm looking for this, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me as I'm going looking for the vision. So my name is Marley. I'm Picmonic's Master Nursing Scholar. I've been working for Picmonic since 2015. After nursing school, I was, sorry, guys, I'm just a little distracted trying to find this presentation. Hold on. There it is. Okay. Share screen. There it is. Let's get started. Okay. So everybody can see okay, I hope. There we go. Okay. So 3 Nclex prep time management methods that you need to know. Before we get started, if any of you haven't heard about what Picmonic is, what we do is we take all the hard to remember information in nursing school and we turn it into fun, crazy characters and stories so that you can remember the information very quickly, like when you're studying for exams or when you're taking the Nclex. For example, warfarin, the medication, we turn into the warfairy. We take all the information, a particular topic, whether that's farm or conditions or diseases, whatever it is. And we take the high yield facts and also turn those into characters. So you can see here, it's something you would need to know about Warren, is that you need to monitor PT and INR levels. So we take that fact and we would turn it into the PT hourglass in the INR International Building. And then you need to know the antidote, which is vitamin K and fresh frozen plasma, which we turn into the Viking King with fresh frozen plasma screen TV. So what happens here is your brain automatically starts associating these facts to characters, and then you can just recall these really weird characters really quickly and start associating those so that you can remember details really, really fast. Same thing with heparin, turn it into the hippie heron. You need to monitor APTT. Antidote is protamine sulfate, and we turn that into the potato man with sulfur matches. So you can see things really weird, and we do that on purpose because you're more likely to remember the weird stuff. And we have over 1,000 topics for nursing school, which we're currently working on way more. We're always working on more. So we take you from the beginning of nursing school all the way to the end of your nursing student career, and even farther into your career as a nurse. So you can always come back and refresh yourself on topics. So as I was doing before and trying to introduce myself and multitask, my name is Marley. I'm the Master Nursing Scholar here at Picmonic. What that means is I help create the content that you are learning from, turning all the different bugs, drugs, diseases that you need to know into crazy characters and stories with our department. And I work in a little bit of the marketing areas. Basically, we all at Picmonic work in a bunch of different areas in the company. So yeah, I've been with Picmonic for almost 7 years, and I discovered Picmonic at the end of my nursing student career, unfortunately, because when I discovered it, I was like, oh my God, why didn't I know about it sooner? It was so helpful. So I used it a lot to help me study for the Nclex. Then from there, I helped develop the study planner, which you guys all got emailed a link to. And if you don't, put it in as we're talking about it. I have a hard copy right here, and we'll be talking about it in a little bit. So moving on, what we're covering today: step 1, lifestyle management; step 2, time box study plans; and step 3, study. So I know we have just a little bit of time, but I want to get started with step 1, which is lifestyle management, because how many of us, myself used to be included in this, was just don't understand how to study or how to set up like a proper schedule for yourself, to organize yourself, to understand how to use your manage efficiently. So we're going to be talking about that. Sorry, I'm just trying to look at the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going, and then I'll talk about this in a little bit. Okay, so step 1, lifestyle management. So organization and routine is so key here. And I was just talking about how I don't love being a planner, but it's really essential when, number 1, you have a study routine that you're trying to stick to. And number 2, when you have a bunch of other things in your life that are also really, really important and you need to prioritize while you're studying. So it's like you have to be hyper vigilant about organizing your life. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to use a planner or a calendar or a digital planner of some sort. I really like using digital planners, like my iCalendar on my computer, because it will send alarms to my phone. It's super easy to move things around if I need to, instead of like taking out a planner calendar and having to keep that with me all the time. It's like literally on your phone, which you carry with you all the time anyway. So, and you get constant like alarms to know, like you can set it up, you can customize it, being like, okay, I need to know that 30 minutes I need to be somewhere. So I think that's ideal for me, but some people like to actually have handwritten stuff. Whatever it is, use something that works for you, and really, really like hold that thing to you like it is your most prized possession, because that's going to be really key when you're organizing your time. So you're going to want to time block, and I'm into like the 30-minute mark. So let's say you have coffee with a friend, and that idea about like, oh, I don't want to have to time 30 minutes to go meet for coffee with my friend. It's actually super beneficial to do this because instead of going and having a coffee with your friend and like sitting in the back of your mind and being like, oh, fuck, sorry, let me just sitting there thinking, oh my God, I'm feeling very, very guilty about the fact that I'm not studying right now and thinking and being really hard on yourself. You blocked that out. You already blocked that out in your calendar. So you can be super present with your friend, knowing that you're going to get to work or studying or whatever it is that you need to do that day because you had blocked that out. So it's really important that even the little things like your workouts, your, let's say going to the grocery store, you want to time block those out so that you know what your day looks like. And what I would suggest is go start either on Sunday or Monday, whatever it is that your week starts at, and say, okay, on Sunday, which is what I do, I look at the whole week ahead in my planner and I say, okay, I know my top A priorities, my B priorities, and my C priorities. A is going to be where my work schedule is. So I already filled that out. B is going to be, let's say, if I'm in school, I'm going to be putting in the school stuff. If you're studying, you need to put in the, actually, studying would be, because we're talking about studying. So studying would be A. So for A, it's like work, school, studying, the top priorities that are like the necessary things. B is going to be like the next level of things. So if that means like, oh, I have to go to the bank or I have to have a doctor's appointment or whatever, fill those in. And then C are just like the funsy stuff that you know isn't a priority, but you want to put it on your calendar for that week. So go through on Sunday and mark those things out, knowing that you can shift them here and there if that needs to happen, but like have a rough draft of what your week is going to look like. Something that I tend to do also, which helps me, maybe not a lot of people, but I also like to have like sort of a maintenance phase going on. So what I mean by this is like on Sundays, I do like self-care Sundays. So I know that I'm going to be doing all my self-care stuff on Sunday. So that means laundry is going to be done on Sunday. That means like if I'm doing hair mask or face mask, that's all on Sunday. It's a really good way of organizing your life so that you know like everything is in maintenance mode. I know on Fridays I'm going to be doing finances, so finance Friday. So I know things with bills or anything to do with the bank or anything is all going to be done on Friday. It's a very organized way of doing things, but it definitely helps just to keep you in a constant state of maintenance instead of like going like this all the time. And it's more efficient and effective, and it saves you such a headache because there's nothing worse when you're feeling really overwhelmed with the amount of studying you have to do if there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in your life. So the whole idea is to try to make your life as easy as possible when you're studying for the Nclex, because that's already as stressful. It's like the most stressful thing anyway, just the idea of it. So you want to keep everything else going on around you in a nice, balanced state. So we're going to go into the day plan. So the day plan, again, you want to make sure it's a very simple plan. So what a lot of people do is that they'll be like, okay, I have to do 17 things today. So I'm going to write down all the things that I have to do and I'm going to put check marks near them and I'm going to check them all off. You know that you're not going to get to those 17 things. I think like we all know when we have a huge list of things to do, we know we're not going to get to all of them. So automatically by the time we get to the end of the day and we've only accomplished 3 of those things on our list of 17, we've already set ourselves up for failure. And it's this mindset, even if it's a tiny little mindset of I failed, like I didn't do all the things. And then you go to bed and you don't feel good. You don't feel like you succeeded from the day. And there's definitely studies that show that like if you set up yourself for failure and you have this negative attitude, it doesn't carry well with you. Instead, what you can do is simplify, take the top 3 priorities and make those attainable goals so that you are going to go to bed at night thinking to yourself, I was successful today. I did the things that I told myself I was going to do. Even if that means it's like something as small as like, I folded all my clothes that have been sitting in my laundry basket for the whole week and I folded them. You did the thing, you know, and like you get a thumbs up for that instead of going to bed thinking like you failed. It's really, it's a mental state and it's going to help you in the long run, especially while you're studying, especially trying to get in the mind state of succeeding. It's a really important one. Okay. I'm not going to check the questions just yet because I'm going to keep going. So, helpful time savers. Okay. So here's the other thing is that when you're studying, again, it's a large amount of time that you're going to be dedicating to studying. And if you have a lot of the other stuff going on in your life, whether that's family, work, whatever it is, you're going to try to cut out the time stuff, which I call fluff. Like, get rid of the fluff. And we can all make extra time in our day by just cutting out the fluff. And what is fluff? Fluff is when you press your snooze button 5 times and don't get out of bed. That's already 30 minutes sometimes that goes by of just pressing snooze, that you could have just cut out the fluff, got out of bed, and started your day and gained an extra 30 minutes. Other things like scrolling aimlessly. That is so fluffy, get it out, you know? And again, like, it's not to say that we're not going to be scrolling, that in an ideal world, yeah, but like, we're human beings and we like to scroll. So what you can do here is know that you are allowed like 15 to 20 minutes of scrolling per day. And I'm not joking, you put that in your calendar. Like, give yourself that little time block of like, I'm going to aimlessly scroll, or I'm going to just be watching TV for 20 minutes because my brain needs a break. And that's okay. But just make time for it instead of like just having it aimlessly take up time. You know, you want to get rid of like the time waste. So speaking of that, you should also, a good idea is to use time management software, which is built into, I know it's in the Apple phone. I don't know about the Android. I think it probably is, but there's, in your settings, you can put time limits on the apps that are going to be sucking up your time. So for example, I have time limits on Instagram and Facebook. I know that I have 30 minutes a day on each of those, and then my phone shuts me out. So go look in your settings. It's a very good thing to use while you're studying, because you know, like, as soon as that limit is reached, like, there you go, more for you today. It's super helpful. And then even like, if that's not something you want to do, know that you yourself can cut yourself off at a certain time at night, like especially for sleep hygiene, which is really important to like limit the screen time and everything. Know that let's say 8 o'clock, I'm not going on my phone anymore. Like, that's it. That's my cutoff. So doing something like that, just put limits on it so that it doesn't get out of control and you lose a lot of time. And then multitasking. And I don't mean this as like doing 8,000 things at once and not focusing. I mean, if it's something like you haven't seen your friends in like a week because you've been head down studying and you're feeling like antisocial and your friends are wanting to catch up with you, and you also need to exercise because you should be doing that as part of your study routine, go for a walk with a friend. Or if you haven't called your mom in a couple whatever days and you still have to work out, like, call her while you're on the treadmill. Do these things to like kind of like make sure that you knock these things out and you're still getting stuff done, you know? And then knowing yourself is super important. So an experiment that I want you all to do this week is play around if you don't know what they are. And what I mean by that is we all have a certain amount of certain hours during the day that we're our most productive. I think my internet is, I hope everyone can, I think my internet just kind of went wonky for a second. But I was saying that know the most productive hours of your day. So we usually have about 3 to 4 hours that we're like super hyper focused and able to be productive, different for every person. So experiment on yourself this week, going and saying, okay, if I wake up super early, let's say like my productive study hours, which I found for me are between 6 and 10 o'clock in the morning, which is crazy because I always thought I was a night owl. Turns out I'm not. So play with that this week. Go and try 6 to 10, or try 12 to 4, or try 4 to 8. Like, play around and really, really notice, even write it down, what hours you were able to focus more. And from there, you can start to build your study schedule, knowing that those are your productive hours. Those are the hours that you're going to be most efficient, that you're going to be really retaining information. And know that when you're building your study schedule, that those are the hours that you're going to want to be studying, because it's not as efficient to be taking the study hours that you're not really focused. And it's a waste of time, you know? So use the study hours. First of all, this week, experiment with your productive study hours, and then build the study plan according to that. Same thing with location. Really know yourself. Know which locations are going to be productive for you. For me, I have to be out of the house, whether that's work or school, because I work on the computer. So like, I know that if I'm in my house, I'm not productive. I like tend to clean or do something just to distract myself. So I know I have to get out of the house. For some people, they can't be in around people when they're studying. Like they need to be in a quiet room. Maybe that is their house, maybe it's the library, whatever. Know your location and know where you're going to be most productive. And then it becomes routine. So it's about training yourself. Remember, putting it in your calendar, the productive hours, and knowing that this is now part of your new daily routine for the next month to 2 months. And then going into self-care, these 4 things are so important when you are, first of all, just in general in everyday life, but also when you're studying and creating a routine. Like really make sure that you get these things in. Meditate, exercise, nutrition, and sleep. Meditation, if you guys haven't gotten into meditation yet, it is a lifesaver for not only focus and the ability to retain information, but also if you do have test taking anxiety, this is going to help you a lot. So I don't mean like going and like sitting on a mountain for like 4 hours. I mean like 5 minutes every day. Put it in your calendar, like create a routine. All of this stuff, just create a routine out of it, and then it becomes a habit, just like brushing your teeth. So what I would do is, and what I do is I put it in my calendar. I know right when I wake up, I'm going to be doing 5 minutes of meditation before I do anything else. I have an alarm that reminds me that I'm going to be meditating. So that's part of the routine. If you don't know how to meditate, or if you need guidance, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Spotify. There's guided visualization meditations. There's just guided meditations. Like there's so much information out there. And breathing exercises, just, yeah, it doesn't have to be an overwhelming thing. If you don't know the first thing about meditation, that's totally okay. Exercise, so important while you're studying, just at least 30 minutes a day of just getting your heart pumping, getting oxygen to your body. Nutrition, so important. I mean, you know these things, but it's like you have to really be serious about them and don't brush them off. Sleep, obviously so important, because if you're not sleeping at least 7 to 8 hours a night, the information that you are trying to retain is never going to turn into long-term memories if you don't get proper sleep. Like put sleep in your calendar. Know that like at this amount of time, I need 7 to 8 hours. So like at this time, I'm shutting off everything else. Everything goes on airplane mode. I'm going to sleep. Make it as important as studying is. Okay, so let's move on to step 2. I hope I'm not going over time. Okay, let me rush through this. 4 to 6 week study plan that we emailed you. You have a digital copy. This is the hard copy that I have. We made this because it's about dividing your time. So everything that we kind of just talked about, this is what this digital planner does. Not only does it have all of the review information, but what we've done is we've broken up, I know it's probably hard to see, but we've broken up all of the study schedules into a 4-week planner. So it goes week by week, day by day. So you have an actual planner here that you say, okay, I'm working here, I'm doing whatever. And then you have your study schedule for that day. All of these things link out to specific Picmonics. So you know that on day 8, you're going to be learning 11 Picmonics. It's going to take you 55 minutes, and it's on the endocrine glands. As soon as you've done all those Picmonics, you do a nice little check over there, and then you move on to day 9, day 10, blah, blah, blah. And then by the end of the week, you have all of these activities as review. It's just like the best planner in the world. So have fun with that. So side note, schedule your exam. Don't push it off, and get it done. The worst thing you can do is just push it off, because not only does that create a lot of anxiety and just this like overwhelming burden that you're carrying with you, but the information is getting less and less fresh in your head. So just get it done. Like don't punish yourself. Okay, step 3, how to study. Use your Picmonic planner, which we just talked about, and then it's about practicing. So practice. Imagine you are training for a marathon. This is exactly the same thing. It's all about practice. Get your head in the zone about doing practice questions, getting used to the idea of doing Nclex style questions. So you're going to want to get a question bank, and you're going to want to complete, and this is a rough estimate, it's subjective, but about 100 questions per day. So that's about 2,800 practice questions if we're going off like a 4-week study schedule. So with that, like what you can do, again, like you don't have to sit there and do 100 in a row. You can do, okay, I'm going to do 25 in the morning after I meditate. I put it in my calendar. And then at lunch, I'm going to do another 25 while I'm sitting and eating my sandwich. And then in the afternoon, when I'm having some tea, I'm going to do another 25. And then right before bed, not right before bed, because I want to eliminate any screen time, but like, you know, as you're settling down for the evening, do another 25. So you can divide it that way, and your brain is just constantly in this mode. Really read the rationales and understand why you got things right versus why you got things wrong. Don't just flip to the next question. Really understand what's happening in your brain and the process that's going on about like how you got to the answer you got to, and that way you'll be able to answer the next questions more efficiently and effectively. Study techniques, Pomodoro method. I don't know if any of you have heard of this, but it's basically setting a timer for about 20 to 25 minutes and taking a 5 to 10 minute break. So every time the timer goes off, you take another break. But then it's like heads down, focus, no distractions for those 20 to 25 minutes. And then using spaced repetition, which we have on the Picmonic platform, which is amazing. Basically, it's showing you what you need to see when you need to see it. So how spaced rep works is that the questions you get right, you're going to see, but you're not going to see them as frequently as the ones you get wrong. The ones you get wrong, you're going to be seeing more often. And these are for the quizzes is what I'm talking about on Picmonic. You're going to be seeing the wrong ones more often until you start getting them right. And it's really battles the forgetting curve and helps you retain these things for long-term memory. So remember, for these practice questions, read the entire question, then reread the entire question and really ask yourself, what is this question asking me? And this is something else we can talk about in the future with the keywords, but just take a breath, understand that like it's all about understanding the question. Okay, I think we'll talk about anxiety another time. I think that's all the time we have. So for you today, we have a gift. Thank you for staying till the end. Let me just unshare the screen. Okay, so it's 30% off that we're giving you today. And the options to get that are either click the link in the chat right now that we're putting in there right now that Heather is, or wait an hour to receive the email with the link. Either you're getting the link, just depends on how fast you want to get it. So now, oh, we want to announce the winner too. There's the link if you see it. I think we'll announce the winner in the Q&A. Let's do that. Let me just get the winner here. Okay, here we go. We got the winner. The winner is Melissa Stevens. Yay! Congratulations, Melissa! You won a free year subscription to Picmonic. So super excited for you. It's going to be really, really great. So everybody's congratulating you. Now, let me see. We have a couple minutes left for question and answer. Let me just go through and see. If something didn't make sense, we can re-talk about it too. How many hours a day do you recommend study? So it depends on a certain amount of things. Number one, how well do you know the content, the area that you're trying to study? Number two, what you are studying. Some areas you don't, I mean, again, it depends on you. How well, like what your problem areas are, you're going to be wanting to spend more time on. The ones you know a little better, you're going to be wanting to spend less time on. And that's really what's great about the digital planner. I'll pull it out again. Is that we divide it into, like, nothing is longer. I think the longest study day is like 4 hours. Less than that, like 3.5, because like that, you're not really going to be retaining more information past 3 to 4 hours of studying. Like ideally we could sit down and study for 8 hours, but you're going to burn out. So it's about making that time efficient. And what we've done here is divided the time for you in this planner. And some days are like an hour and a half, some days are 4 hours. It really depends on the topic and you. If you know that area, you can go a little faster on that. So about like 2 to 4, basically, is short answer. Yoga, yes, please do yoga. Please, I love yoga. I'm a yoga teacher, so like I'm always gonna be a huge advocate for yoga, but definitely do yoga. Walking and listening to Nclex podcast, amazing. Meditation, amazing. Let's see. How do I study if, oh, this is a good question. How do I study if I'm demoted or having a bad day? Should I continue studying or just take a break? Okay, so there are going to be days that you just can't get it done. Like there's gonna be bad days, there's gonna be days that you're not motivated. There's gonna be days that things come up and you can't get to studying. Like, and that's why it's really important when you're planning out your week or your month to put in either spontaneous fun days, which aren't really that spontaneous if you plan them, but you know what I mean, like having time for fun, because it's really important that you're not going to be a robot throughout this time. You want to plan to have some areas of fun because you want to be a human being still. So if you have time planned for like the fun, let's say, and another day you're feeling demoted or unmotivated, you can swap those days out, you know, because some days it's just not going to get done and then you're wasting time staring at a page and not studying. So I would recommend try to take a break, try to go for a walk, see if maybe like you switch on your brain or something if it is a study day. And if not, like just know you're a human being. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be okay, and you swap it out and you make up that time somewhere else. But try to plan for those days. Try to plan in your calendar that you might have an off day here or there. Where when the webinar is completed, the links will be emailed to you. Let's see. Are there any questions? Strategies to answer questions. So that's a whole other webinar we can do another time. There's definitely some secrets there where I'm happy to do another webinar on that. So stay tuned for that. We'll probably plan that one out. You can register for Nclex right after graduation. Definitely. You have to get your number for what it's like an ATT number, I think it's called. So as soon as you have that, you can just apply to register. Okay, you have 18 days to go. What's the best plan of action from here? Definitely I mean, I don't know where you're at on your study routine or how confident you feel, but make sure you're doing the questions like in your sleep, basically. Just keep doing the questions. And really, yeah, just keep practicing, keep doing what you're doing. 18 days it's still a fair amount of time to get a lot of studying in. Planner. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm a repeat test taker with high anxiety, and I would suggest not setting up a job till you pass the Nclex. Yeah, that's a good piece of advice. Anxiety is definitely its own monster. I used to have it a lot. There's definitely some tips and tricks you can do to help battle the anxiety. As just like a starter kit for anxiety, the meditation is going to help you so much. Also breathing techniques, which you can find online, or go to a yoga class or something, like start learning about breathing techniques, because when you're in a really in an anxious state during the test, especially because like what used to at least happen for me is like watching the clock tick down gives you more and more anxiety, or seeing people get up and leave gives you a lot of anxiety. So there's different things you can do to work that out. And it's all about the mind. So I would suggest going and learning some different breathing techniques. Question banks. So there's a lot of them out there. There's like Kaplan, Worlds. There's a lot of different ones out there, and it just depends on which ones you want to use. So I think, yeah. I think that's all we have. You're also welcome to write into us at info@picmonic.com. If you have any questions, our whole team is always here to help you. We want you guys to succeed. It makes us really happy to help you succeed. So we're always here for you. Welcome for the tips. I don't know about the extension. I don't know too much about that. Thank you. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.